All right, everyone, welcome to the new masterclass, How to Start an Airbnb for Cash Flow with or without buying property. I'm going to show you the six-step framework for a profitable short-term rental business. And my name is Nana Alice Nayarko. So let's get started and dive right in. All right, so let's do a quick roll call, everyone. Type in the chat, let me know if you are one of these. Are you a full-time 9-to-5 employee? Or maybe you are an entrepreneur. Maybe you're a side hustler. So you've got your regular job, but then you are working on some projects on the side to bring in income. Or maybe you're already a real estate investor. Or you might be a stay-at-home mom or a dad. That should say dad. So drop that in the chat and let me know if you are any of those. So I want to let you know you are in the right place, right? So you are in the right place if you are interested in starting or automating your Airbnb, but you're not exactly sure how. You might be overwhelmed and you're not sure if you can or even if you want to buy a property to get started, right? You might be tired of living paycheck to paycheck and you're ready to build another stream of income. Or you're over trading time for dollars, which is what we call active income, and you want to find a better way to passive income, right? Or you want to spend more time with your friends and your family doing what you love instead of what you might be doing right now. So if that's you, just go ahead and give me a yes in the chat box. So this masterclass is not for you, however, if you don't believe making money with Airbnb is possible, because that's what we're talking about today. This is not for you if you're not coachable, right? You need to be able to be coachable, and here are the information that you're going to get today. And this is not for you if you're not willing to do the work to get the results that you desire. So my promise to you is that I will deliver as much value as possible in this free 60-minute masterclass. Nothing I teach here is based on theory. Everything you'll learn has been tested and proven to work by myself, my clients, as well as my students. And in return, I ask that you keep an open mind about the new information you're going to learn today, that you share this class with anyone you think would be able to benefit from it, and that you take plenty of notes so you can begin to implement what you learned today. And here are some tips for watching this masterclass and getting the most value out of it. So make sure you get yourself in a quiet room or space, as quiet as you can, depending on your circumstances. Go ahead and put your phone on Do Not Disturb so that you don't have all these notifications and things coming in. Close all 5011 tabs to increase your bandwidth. If you're anything like me, I have mad tabs open all the time. Try to close all those down so you have a better Wi-Fi connection. Go ahead and close Facebook or Instagram, close down WhatsApp. And I just want to say that you work hard. So go ahead and treat yourself to this time uninterrupted, right? Give yourself that treat to really be able to focus. So I love this quote, starve your distractions and feed your focus. And that's what we're going to do today. So during this masterclass, you are going to learn the 3 biggest mistakes people think when it comes to Airbnb and short-term rentals. You're also going to learn my 6-step framework for starting and automating a profitable Airbnb with or without buying property first. And guys, this is the same exact method and framework that I teach inside my paid implementation system, the B&B from Scratch method. So yes, you are definitely in the right place, and we are going to dive right in. All right, and I just want to let you know about my action takers only bonus, right? So this is my 6-figure Airbnb system to get over $100,000 in just your first year of Airbnb. So at the end of this free class, I'm going to be making you an offer to enroll in the B&B from Scratch method. And for those of you that are action takers and want to get started right away, you'll get my bonus, which is my 6-figure Airbnb system. So this is the easy to follow step-by-step guide that shows you my top tip secrets on how to bank $100,000 or more with your Airbnb short-term rental business in just 1 year. So this is going to be for those action takers who decide to enroll today. But let's get into this free class because it's jam-packed with information. So let's talk about IKEA. And I know that sounds out of left field. Stick with me. I got you. Don't worry about it. But I want to talk about IKEA. It's one of my favorite stores. Just because, I'm sure you've all been into IKEA and it's a fun place to shop sometimes. Type in the chat if you type the word IKEA in the chat if you are a fan. So I want you to take this journey with me, right? Stay with me. Imagine that you are in a contest and the prize for winning this contest is $100,000. And in order to be able to win this $100,000, you have to build this IKEA system. It's a TV stand, combination cabinets, all that good stuff in order to win the $100,000, but you have to build it in 30 minutes, right? I'm sure you guys, some of you have built IKEA furniture before, so you've got 30 minutes in order to win this $100,000. So how would you do it, right? Would you hire an IKEA expert, which is what I think and I like to call the smart and efficient way? Or would you, not do that? Would you try to do it all by yourself from scratch and kind of have this? I'm sure, like I said, we've all built IKEA furniture. It can be kind of frustrating, right? And remember, you only have 30 minutes in order to finish this job so you can win that $100,000. So I'm here to congratulate you and guide you on creating your own profitable Airbnb short-term rental. So we are going to take the smart and efficient way, right? We're just going to have them show up, build everything for us, and it's going to look magical and awesome like it does in the IKEA showroom instead of what it might look like when you build it yourself, right? So let's get into it. Starting an Airbnb was the number one way that I grew my income when I started to build side hustles and build passive income. But it wasn't the Airbnb itself that made the biggest impact. It was the strategy and systems that I implemented inside my Airbnb business that mattered the most. So who am I, right? I just want to introduce myself. My name again is Nana Alice Nayarko. I have hosted over 20 successful and profitable Airbnb and short-term rental listings since 2014. I have been able to generate over $250,000 in bookings in just 1 year. And I've helped everyone from full-time 9-to-5 employees, entrepreneurs, investors, as well as stay-at-home moms and dads start their first Airbnb fast. And for over 10 years, I've worked in real estate and I practiced law as an attorney for several years as well. So I use my Airbnbs as a tool to build a multiple six-figure short-term rental business. And this is just a snapshot of 1 year in the business doing over $200,000. But in 2014, all I had was an idea. So let's take it way, way back. Let's go back in time. So this was me back in 2014, right? I was working as a contractor. I had an unpredictable income and an unpredictable schedule. I was making someone else's family wealthy. My boss controlled all of my time. And if I didn't work, I didn't get paid. I had a dream to start my own side hustle to make extra income, but I really had zero experience in that area. I had no clue how to start a short-term rental business in Airbnb without buying a property. I had no idea how to decide on what location to start. I had no clue how to get the funding for my Airbnb, even with little to no credit, or how to get set up quickly for less. And I had no idea how to make sure I was actually profitable and how to run a team and automate everything to actually be hands-free. So my friends and family thought I was nuts, right? That I wanted to get into Airbnb. But I remember thinking I'm going to go all in and I don't care if anyone believes I can do it, right? So comment below if you've ever experienced that kind of lack of support. And it's not always because they're hating on you or they're against you. Sometimes it's just that they care so much for you that they don't want to see you fail. But that was the position that I was in. So I was doing a lot of traveling, both for work and for fun, and I wanted a way to cover my expenses. So this is kind of how I got into this Airbnb game. I wanted to see if hosting my apartment could actually make me some extra money. So I listed my space part-time when I was traveling, and just doing it part-time when I was out of town, and I know that's crazy for a lot of people, but just doing it part-time, I was able to make about $1,300 just part-time. I said, there's something to this, right? And then, guys, I was laid off. My contract job was like, see you later. We don't need you right now. And it was not cool. So like I said, this is me back in 2014. I was laid off. I was living in an expensive apartment in an expensive city. And my bills were like, hey, sis, we are still here. What you going to do about us, right? So I, again, decided to Airbnb a space in my apartment full time. I started to make enough money to cover my rent. And then I started to make more than my rent in a month. So even though my first Airbnb was kind of a flop because I had the idea, but I lacked the right strategy, after a lot of trial and error, the right strategy eventually led to being able to do $21,000 in bookings in just 30 days, having loads of 5-star reviews on my account. And over the next few years, I started helping friends and clients get their own Airbnbs started and launched and booked quickly. I helped students, friends, clients, like Michelle, who did over $1,000 her first month, Daniel over $5,000, Christina over $7,000, and Joseph over $10,000 when they launched their first Airbnbs. So the thing is, though, after all this, it all really started with that first Airbnb. So my Airbnb business has helped me learn how to build and scale a management business. I was able to do my first 6-figure year, as well as my first $21,000 month. But most importantly, it's helped me feel less overworked and overwhelmed. It's been able to give me control of my own time and income. It's given me time freedom to build other businesses as well as the time freedom to spend more time with my family and friends and even start a family of my own. So here are 3 major mistakes to avoid with starting your Airbnb. And guys, don't feel bad if you've had these thoughts or made these mistakes. I've definitely made them too in the past. And so I'm showing you now how not to do that, right? So let's talk about mistake number 1. Mistake number 1 is waiting and not starting your Airbnb right now. So here's the thing. A lot of times people think now is not a good time to start to get into short-term rentals in Airbnb. They think they may have missed the boat because it has been very popular, especially in the last couple of years. So they think maybe it's not a good time now, and they think it's saturated. Or they may be thinking Airbnbs are banned everywhere. I can't get into it right now. Or you might be thinking there are no good deals left. No one's going to work with you to get started with your Airbnb. I totally get it. If you've ever thought any of these things, drop that in the chat and let me know which one you were kind of thinking has been holding you back. So here's the thing why a lot of people think this. They may have been told that you can't start an Airbnb business unless you already own a property or you're able to go out and buy a property, right? How many of you guys have thought that or been told that? Or you may know someone who did it the wrong way and then it did not profit for them. You might be thinking Airbnb is dead and no one is booking right now because there was an initial slowdown in travel when the pandemic started, right? Or you might think you have to spend tons of time and money to make your Airbnb actually work. So it's no wonder people are frustrated, confused, and missing out on valuable cash flow, right? So here's the cost of thinking this way, right? When people think this way, they end up missing out on the massive success of Airbnb, as well as the ability to pick up good deals. And what do I mean by that? And so once people stop thinking this way, you're able to tap into the massive success of Airbnb and the increase in travel, the trend of short-term rentals, and you're able to get the cash flow that they bring in, as well as diversifying your portfolio, whether you decide to go with traditional rentals or short-term rentals, or maybe combining the both of them. So let's take it all the way back, right? Let's define the basics. A lot of you already know this, but just in case, what is Airbnb, right? Airbnb is an online platform where you can list your space, whether it's a house, apartment, room, or couch. And yes, I said couch because some people do that. You just got to stay open-minded if that's for you. And then guests can find it and book it to stay there. So why people like Airbnb? Well, for the hosts, it's very user-friendly. Airbnb handles the payment processing, the guest verification. They take a small commission, and then they deposit the rest of the payment into your bank account. Who here likes deposits in their bank account? I know I do. If you like deposits, go ahead and type deposit in the chat box, right? And then on the guest side, a lot of people like Airbnb because often it's lower cost than a hotel, but more so than that, you have more options than your traditional hotel, right? So it's often less expensive. You get more privacy, more space, and more locations. So like I said before, you want to tap into the massive success of Airbnb and short-term rentals. So here are just some stats about Airbnb. There are over 150 million total users on Airbnb. There are over 2 million people staying in an Airbnb on any given night. There are over 7 million global Airbnb listings worldwide, and their total valuation based off the recent stock is over $130 billion, right? So when these stats first came out, they were at 35 billion. Now they're at over $130 billion, which is more than Marriott, Hilton, all of those combined. So they are a juggernaut, and you want to tap into that massive success. Even with all the global economic changes going on, Airbnb is still crazy successful. So this is a snapshot kind of at the peak of the pandemic where Airbnb says 1 million nights were booked in just one day. And again, their stock and IPO skyrocketed to over 120%. Again, more than Marriott, Hilton, and Hyatt combined. Then you've got this snapshot of an article from CNBC where Airbnb soars after earnings after one analyst called it the best asset in travel. And then Airbnb's sales beat estimates, showing demand even during the COVID surges. So again, another reason you want to get in now is that there is a growing trend in short-term leases, which are becoming more popular for just your everyday renters, right? Renters want short-term leases, and as the pandemic makes it very hard to plan for what life will be like 1 year from now. In general, people just want more flexibility, right? They don't necessarily always want to be locked into a 12-month lease. So another reason is to go ahead and you want to diversify your portfolio. So let's talk about traditional versus short-term rentals, right? I took a snapshot of a property or a location, same property in the city, a one-bedroom studio apartment. And with the traditional rental, you're going to get about $1,800 a month for this property. For the very same apartment with short-term rentals, you're going to be able to do around an average of $135 per night per booking. So in a month, you can do around $3,300. And I'm not saying either one is better than the other or one is bad or not, but it's a great way, again, to diversify that portfolio if you have rental property. So I want you guys to say hi to Michelle. Using the strategies I teach, she went with short-term rentals and Airbnb instead of traditional rentals and was able to see almost double the cash flow. So she sent me this message that, Airbnb was the best decision she ever made. She started in July and she was able to do over $6,000. And of course, I said that is amazeballs because I was super excited to know that she's able to bring in all this cash flow from doing short-term rentals and Airbnb. So guys, another reason to get started now is that Airbnb gets you cash flow. This is a snapshot of all the deposits they make on a daily basis into our accounts. They email you when they pay you, which I love. They're consistently giving you your money as long as you are getting those bookings. So I want you to say hey to Joseph. He's another person who implemented my strategies, and he says he had no previous Airbnb experience and was shocked by the numbers we did the first month. With 2 units, we did just shy of $10,000 in bookings. By the 4th month, we were up to over $15,000 in bookings in just 1 month. And this is a snapshot of the property. Okay, so that was mistake number 1. Now let's get into mistake number 2. Which is not starting because you're not ready or you don't want to buy a property. And I know for a lot of people, this is one of the things that is one of the major things that is holding them back, right? So let's dive into it. A lot of times people think you must buy a house in order to start an Airbnb, put down 20%, have perfect credit, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars up front, and have tons of real estate or design experience in order to be successful. And that's all before you've even furnished the place yet, right? Because remember, these are short-term rentals. People expect them to be fully furnished and fully operational. So the cost of thinking this way is that people put themselves on the sidelines and miss out on gaining a new stream of income, helping tired landlords and owners and picking up good deals, taking advantage of the increases in domestic and international travel. But once people stop thinking this way, they are able to tap into simple real estate leases, simple co-hosting, winning even without buying, and winning even without perfect credit. So let's dive into that. So how do you start without buying a property first? Well, guys, it's with nothing but simple rental leases and co-hosting. And what do I mean? So you are able to help tired landlords and owners and pick up good deals. Many landlords and owners have struggled with being able to collect rents recently, and they are looking for a solution, and you can actually be that solution. I love this quote by Warren Buffett: be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful, right? So a lot of times people right now are kind of fearful to get into the market, and this is the perfect time. So let's talk about the 3 ways that I teach and most people do to Airbnb. So you can buy or use your own place, you can master lease, or you can co-host. So these strategies allow you to start quickly. My first Airbnb started with my own apartment, a room in my home, a friend's apartment, master leased, rented apartment, and then I co-hosted and managed for others as well. So over 20 units, and the number of properties purchased for Airbnb was 0. So let's talk about your own place. This can be a spare room, basement, in-law suite, investment property, or a couch. And guys, people laugh when I say this, but this is actually how Airbnb was founded. The owners and founders couldn't make their rent, so they rented out an air mattress and a couch one weekend at their apartment in San Francisco, and the rest is history. So don't knock it, right? So let's talk about the old way versus the new way. The old way, traditional way, is buying a property to Airbnb, which a lot of times you have to put 20% down because it's an investment property. You also have to pay closing costs because you don't just show up and buy the property. It costs money to actually close as well. And then you might have repair costs, right? So let's say, for example, you're buying a $300,000 house, and the monthly revenue from Airbnb is $4,000 and your utilities are $300. So I'm not saying this is bad, just that it can take a lot more time for some people to get started and to recoup their money. And even if you are buying, I can definitely show you a better way to get started. So the new way is master leasing or rental arbitrage, or you can do co-hosting and managing. So master leasing or rental arbitrage is when you rent a property from a landlord, and with their permission, you sublet it and use it to rent on Airbnb and other short-term rental sites and platforms for a profit. And guys, I bolded and underlined with permission for a reason, right? So make sure that's how you do it. So for example, let's say your lease is $1,500 a month and your Airbnb makes $2,500 a month. So your profit is $1,000 a month, right? So the landlord gets a reliable tenant and you make great cash flow income. So with co-hosting, you are actually helping to manage and co-host someone else's property for them for a percentage of the bookings revenue. And this is one of my favorite ways to get started. So for example, if you were co-hosting, let's say the owner's property generates $2,500 a month, and you and that owner decided on a 20% booking fee, so you're making $500. So you have little to no overhead, and you're working with and for the client. So let's compare them, right? Here are the numbers between buying, master leasing, and co-hosting. So your cash up front when you're buying, because you have that 20% down payment of $60K, let's say it's $20K for closing and repairs, and you've spent about $80,000 again, and you haven't even furnished the place yet. Master leasing, again, let's say your rent is $1,500, your deposit is the same, and your furniture is between $2,000 and $5,000. So your cash out of pocket is maybe between $2,000 and $5,000. With co-hosting, you don't have a cost for rent, there's no deposit, and you're not paying for furniture, so your cash up front out of pocket is generally $0. So let's look at some master leasing and co-hosting success, right? This is Zuri, and she said, I took your course on how to start an Airbnb and was able to attain my first one in Charlotte a couple months ago. This is Janae, and she launched 2 units at the same time and got booked right away. So she's like, she should be a cheesy infomercial because it was the best decision she made. And then this is another unit by Yvonne, and she had a luxury lime house in the DC metro area. All right, so let's talk about co-hosting and master leasing. A lot of people ask me which is better. It's going to come down to your personal preference, your resources, as well as your goals, right? How much capital do you have to get started, and how quickly do you want to grow? So let's talk about another reason to get started and why you don't have to necessarily buy. You want to take advantage of the increase in domestic travel, right? So with everything going on in the world right now, road trips are actually really big. Staycations are huge, as well as remote work. So people are using Airbnbs and short-term rentals to be able to work outside of the office. And then, sometimes some people still have lockdowns going on and they want a place that they enjoy to actually stay in place during a lockdown. And like I said, remote work, I love this little meme here because sometimes even though people are home and they don't have to go to the office, home is not a great space for them to be able to work. So sometimes they may use an Airbnb every now and then to just get away. And some companies are even using it for their team meetings, like once a month or once a quarter, etc. Then there is international travel, right? Both current as well as future. People are and they want to travel again. So regardless of what's going on, people are traveling, right? They want to get out, whether it's locally or internationally. So you want to be set up and ready to take advantage of the increase when more people travel and as people are traveling right now. So I want to know, because I'm nosy, where are you going next on your next vacation, right? Drop that in the chat. I'm not sure where I'm going next, maybe Portugal. I don't know, but drop that in the chat and let me know where you are going, where you're interested in going. I just want to know. Let's get some good ideas. So now I want to talk about some recession-proof strategies, right? Because it's not just all about Airbnb. There are so many other short-term rental platforms out there that are going to help you be able to recession-proof your profit while you're doing this business. So there's VRBO, which is Vacation Rental by Owner, which recently merged with HomeAway. Of course, there's Airbnb, but there's Expedia, there's Flipkey, as well as Booking.com, which a lot of people don't realize is another option for them as well. Then you have midterm stays, and these are some of my favorites. So midterm stays are when you're hosting for maybe a couple months at a time, and you can target demographics like travel nurses who are, in a specific city on assignment for a couple months to work at a specific hospital. There's also insurance claims, so maybe somebody or a family has a flood in their home and the insurance has to pay for it. And so, they want to stay in the same neighborhood, same type of community. So they might book an Airbnb during the several months that the work is being done. You also have the military, so maybe they're deploying to a new city. They're not ready to buy anything, and they want to get started and hit the ground running, so they want a furnished property. And then you also have students. So a lot of universities may or may not be open. Students want to still stay near campus so they can go on campus, be around their friends, etc. And they're a great demographic as well that are looking for short-term rentals. So this is what midterm stays looks like on your calendar, right? Fully booked for the month. The money is coming in and everything is gravy. So I want you to meet Christine, and she made over $7,000 in her first 30 days using the midterm stay method. She was able to get several midterm stay guests over time and turn around a problem property that was actually a financial drain for her before. And this is what happened to Emma. She was able to negotiate for better rent. And then she also was able to get her house rented by travel nurses. All right, guys. So that was mistake number 2. We're rolling kind of fast, but stick with me because I want to get you as much as I can in this free class. So let's talk about mistake number 3, which is not automating your system ASAP to run on autopilot and hands-free as possible. All right, so a lot of times people think, hey, Nana, I don't have time to personally meet all these guests. I don't have time to message guests all day long. I don't have time to clean after every single stay myself. I barely have time for my main job or business, and now you want me to do all of this? I totally get it. Don't sweat it. So here's the cost of thinking this way. When people think this way, they think they have to do it all by themselves and manually. You risk burnout and overwhelm because that's a lot to try to do all the time by yourself, and you're not able to successfully scale your business, your Airbnb business, right? It's a lot to do. So once people stop thinking this way, though, you're able to automate and put things on autopilot for cash flow. You can use tools to automate 70 to 90% of your guest messages. You can use a system as well as a team to handle your cleanings and your maintenance. And you can implement easy self-check-ins so you don't have to be there all the time, right? So this is what automation can do. Cleanings are scheduled automatically, and cleanings are so crucial to your success as an Airbnb or short-term rental host. So I just wanted to give you this snapshot of a review that really highlighted the fact that it was clean. It said sparkling clean and looked even better than the photos. We hope to stay here again for our next trip. And this is so crucial because people do become repeat bookers. If there's someone who's going to always be coming to your city and they really liked your property, they will book again, which is what this guest did several times. So you're able to bank in future profit as well. And again, this is what automation looks like. So this is a picture of me in Medellin, Colombia. Not to flex, although it was a fun trip, but just to show you that I was still able to have, over 20 cleanings and maintenance happening while I was in another country because I had everything on automation. And so it could be you being on vacation. It could be you picking up your kids from school or doing homework with them, spending time with them, going to soccer practice, or you just chilling with your friends, or you just taking a nap and not having to be the one doing all of this, and you have your system and automation in place so it's running in the background. So I want you to say hey to Daniel. He said, using Nana's system, I started an Airbnb at a rental and had my property cleaned consistently and automatically while still working my full-time job. And I booked over $4,000 immediately. So this is what automation can do for you too. So I want to know who believes they can set up a simple automation to run their Airbnb business hands-free each month. Type a yes in the chat or give me a high five emoji. Let me know who thinks they can, because that's right. You definitely can. Absolutely. So the bottom line is Airbnb and short-term rentals cash flow like crazy, and you want to be a part of that. but you won't make any money without a good strategy in place. So I want to give you my 6-step framework to starting a profitable Airbnb business. And it's what I like to call the lavish method because I'm a little extra. But the lavish method is 1, you're going to learn, 2, assemble, 3, village search, 6, 4, interior design, 5, setup, and 6, hone, right? So let's dive into that. So step 1 is all about learn. So you're going to learn the rules and regulations of your city, because without this, you are operating blindly and could end up wasting both your time and your money, and don't nobody want that, right? So you want to be able to operate with confidence and have a game plan for success, whether you decide to host in your local area or you decide to host remotely in another city because they have more friendly short-term rental regulations, right? So many people skip this step because it can be confusing. But in today's short-term rental environment, you risk fines and missing out on valuable profit if you operate in the dark. So here is Justice. We helped him find his regulations, the fees required, and additional documentation. So he was then able to easily secure his first 2 units at the same time. So the next step is all about assemble. You want to assemble your systems, your tools, and your team. Having this set up helps you run your Airbnb smoothly from the jump, right? And that's what we want. So it gives you the ability to be organized and know your resources before you even have your first booking. And that's going to include your cleaners, your software, and so much more. So many don't realize knowing your resources will help you with every aspect of your Airbnb and short-term rental business. And this is what that looks like, right? Your team can help your business with everything. And so this is a snapshot of having, one of your team members drop something off to your guests and them being super happy, super excited. And you didn't have to do anything yourself because you had your team in place. So let's talk about village search, which is step 3. This is where a lot of people want to dive in, and this is where you find your property to use for Airbnb and short-term rentals, right? You want to make data-driven decisions to find a profitable location. So making data-driven decisions will get you profitable locations that bring in cash flow, and mining your village gets you there with or without buying a property, right? So getting the right data so that you know that your location is profitable before you even start, before you put any money down or anything like that, is going to give you a leg up. So for many people, this is the scariest part because they need to reach out to others and they're unsure what to say. But with the right presentation, this is where the profit is made from the beginning, guys, and where you can create ongoing business relationships for cash flow, right? Because if you get a good relationship going, you can quickly begin to scale your business. So I want to share Aisha and April's story. They were both able to use the village search method to get multiple units seamlessly. Aisha said, "Thank you. We reached out to 3 properties today to start showings, and getting started has been seamless thanks to your program." And then April said she signed 3 master leases this week. She's a beast. 4-bedroom, a 2-unit, 3-bedroom, a row house, 4-bedroom, and the furniture is on its way. So this is what the village search step can do. Step 4 is all about interior design. So you're going to design to attract bookings, because the right design will help you attract your ideal guests and have you booked consistently from the start at the price point that you desire. So the right design will help attract what I like to call your ideal guest and have you book consistently from the start, right? And depending on your guest type, you can adjust the price point that you want to attract. So you can still design successfully at both low and high-end price points, and you can still profit successfully at both the low and the high-end price points as well. So again, this is just showing you that regardless of what the price point is, you can get started with your interior design, and it's going to attract that guest who is really looking for your type of property. All right, so next, step 5 is all about setup. So you want to set up and put together your unit fast, because days equals money in the short-term rental game, right? So it's important to get yourself up and running in days and not weeks or months that I've seen people do, so that you can get to bookings income ASAP. So many people let PPP get them stuck in spinning their wheels for weeks or even months trying to get it together. And with prior proper planning, which is PPP, you can have a fast setup game so that you're done and getting booked before you can even blink, right? Again, this is what I mean by days equals money in the short-term rental game. So you want to have your team set up and ready to go. So in just a short amount of time, you can have your beautiful space ready and it's being booked on day 1. So you want to get yourself up and running in days and not weeks. Next, let's talk about step 6, which is all about hone. You want to hone your process. So this is where you're going to automate everything to run on autopilot to be as hands-free as possible. Once you do this, you can avoid being overwhelmed, overworked, and you're able to actually scale your business if you choose to, and you want to get more Airbnb and short-term rental properties. So many people let software and tech scare them and keep them from making their lives and businesses easier and more profitable. But good tech and automation can transform your entire business and life. So this again is what that looks like. You know, bookings are easily made on multiple platforms like VRBO, Airbnb, as well as travel nurse sites automatically. And this is me poolside in Accra, Ghana, while all this is happening, right? And this is the beauty of automation. These bookings are still happening. They're happening on multiple platforms, and the booking income and revenue is still coming in. So where or what do you plan to be doing while your Airbnb runs on autopilot and is hands-free? Drop it in the chat. Like, where would you want to be, right? For me, one of my favorite places is Ghana. It's where my family's from. I have a lot of fun when I go there. So that is one of my top spots. Really, anywhere with a beach is where I will like to be. All right, so let's just recap, right? We talked about the 3 mistakes to avoid, which is not starting your Airbnb now, not starting because you're not ready to or you don't want to buy a property right now, and not starting or automating your system ASAP to run on autopilot and as hands-free as possible. Those are the 3 mistakes you definitely want to avoid. So again, like I said, not starting your own Airbnb now, not starting because you're not ready or you don't want to buy, and not automating your system ASAP to run on autopilot. Then we went over my 6-step framework, which is the lavish method: learn, assemble, village search, interior design, setup, and hone. So this framework is not just a bunch of theory. It's been tested and proven to work by me and hundreds of my students. So if you take away one thing, I want you to know that you can start an Airbnb to dramatically increase your cash flow and income without constant hustle, overwhelm, and stress 24/7. Even with or without buying a property, even without needing to have perfect credit, even without being HGTV certified and knowing how to interior design and set up your listing already, even if you rent, even if you own, or anything in between, I have developed a 6-step framework to start your very own profitable short-term rental business, and I've outlined that system for you today. So the big question is, how can you apply this framework to starting or scaling your own Airbnb business for cash flow? So you've got 2 choices right now. You can waste tons of time and effort trying to figure everything out by yourself, kind of like how it is when we try to put together some of that IKEA furniture. Or you can fast track your results with my step-by-step program the B&B from scratch method and get going ASAP, just like the IKEA specialist, right? So the B&B from scratch method is now open for enrollment, guys. This is the way for you to start your profitable Airbnb for cash flow fast with or without buying property. So what are you going to learn in each part of my proven program? Let's get into it. So module 1 is all about learn, just like in the lavish method. You're going to formulate your success game plan to operate successfully, legally, and profitably in your location or remotely. You're going to learn what you can and can't do in your area, and you're going to learn the actual process to find your regulations, the fees that are required, and anything else that you need to get running legally. In module 2, it's all about assembling. So this is where you're going to actually put together your tools, your team, as well as your systems and software to run your Airbnb as smoothly and as successfully as possible from the start. So this is going to include my tools, my templates, as well as my checklists. And then in module 3, it's all about the village search. So you're going to implement the village search system, which is the exact process to find a property, whether you decide to buy, master lease, or co-host. And this is my highly effective two-step landlord, includes my highly effective two-step landlord and owner script that helped rake in over $21,000 in just 30 days. So I'm going to walk you through step by step with the exact scripts on what to say to owners and landlords, the templates that you're going to need, checklists, as well as rental forms so that you can set everything up correctly and legally and have everything moving as smoothly as possible. It's also going to include my pricing strategy so you can price it the right way for cash flow from the beginning. Module 4 is all about interior design, which is one of my favorite parts. So it's going to include my easy interior design blueprint and the steps to make your property look like it is on HGTV status to attract your ideal guest type and top bookings. This includes my design it yourself DIY interior design guide. So if you're like me and you want to design it yourself, I'm going to show you how to do it both the high end as well as the low end design strategies, my furniture recommendations, my favorite stores, and my basic items checklist. And then I get it. There are a lot of people out there who are like, I want to get into this Airbnb business, but I'm not trying to get into the designing of anything. I just want the profit. Cool. That's why I've included my Get It Done For You design guide, right? So I'm showing you how to have your space easily designed for you without having to pay an arm and a leg out of pocket. And in the module 5, it's all about the setup. So I'm giving you my setup system for a fast start. This is the system to build out your property in days and not weeks, so you get booked on day 1 or even sooner. It's also going to include my pre-booking hack system so that you can get booked before you even have your first piece of furniture set up. This includes my setup checklist, my follow along schedule so you are right on track and target to be done quickly, my listing walkthrough guide, so I'm going to show you how to actually list your property, the right things that you need to include in your listings so that you are going to attract the right type of guests, as well as my guest templates and more. And then in module 6, it's all about hone, right? So this is the fun part. This is the automation. So you can put your system on autopilot. It's going to include my automation tech tool stack. So these are the simple tech tools and strategy and bundle that I use to run my Airbnb business as hands-free as possible. It's going to include guest message automation, cleaning system automation, documentation and delegation systems. So once you're ready to bring someone on, my hiring assistance checklist, and so much more so that you are, again, running as hands-free as possible. All right, so now I've got some bonuses for you guys. I am going to include my 5-star guest messaging template vault. So this is a value of over $397, and it includes my easy pre-done guest message templates that generated over 600 5-star reviews. So it gives your guests an awesome hospitality experience. It's going to get you more 5-star reviews, which is going to get you to super host status fast, which is then going to get you more bookings income with ease, right? So these messages are already done for you. You can just implement them into your Airbnb system. Then I'm including my bookkeeping like a boss system, right? A value of over $197. So this is where you can learn the simple ways to actually track your Airbnb income successfully, to know what your profit actually is. And because the IRS is real and you want to make sure you have your books together, right? Next, I'm going to include as a bonus the private B&B from scratch group, and that's a $497 value. So that's a where you can join the exclusive B&B tribe, where you can ask questions of me and my team and get access to our recorded private live Zoom calls where we do Q&A, and this is a limited bonus, so get it while it's still available, because these Q&A calls will not be around forever. And then you've got my fast acting bonus for the next 15 minutes only, guys. It is the 6-figure Airbnb system where you can get learn how to get over $100,000 in just 1 year. So you're gonna get the impactful yet easy follow-along step-by-step system that shows you how to bank over $100,000 in just 1 year, your first year of using Airbnb. All right, so you're going to get lifetime access for the entire system, valued at over $5,997. And again, don't forget, free for action takers. You've got that 6-figure Airbnb system if you decide to take action in the next 15 minutes. So get started right now for $0 up front. If you use PayPal, you can actually get started right now for $0 up front, and I'll go through that a little bit more. So with PayPal credit, you have no payments and no interest for 6 months when you use that to purchase the course. So you actually have 6 whole months to learn the course, implement the system, start getting bookings, start making profit and revenue before you even have to pay for the program. And you can also get started for $287, which is my bite-sized payment plan. So for $287, you can get started right now, or you can do my pay in full option, which is going to save you over $100 if you purchase for $997 right now as well. So guys, the question isn't if you'll make your money back, it's how many times over you'll be able to do it. Again, I was able to do over $21,000 in 30 days, over $200,000 in a year, constant and regular deposits from Airbnb directly into your bank account. So I just want to share with you guys Janae's story. She was able to set up 2 units and get booked in 30 days of starting the program. Again, she was super excited and truly fulfilled to be able to get this going and have bookings immediately out the gate. Then you've got Isomia. She was able to get booked within 48 hours of launching her Airbnb, and this is a snapshot of what that looked like for her. Then you also have Zuri, right? She found and launched her first Airbnb successfully, taking this course and again getting one in Charlotte. And then there's April. She signed 3 master leases in just 1 week using the strategies in this program. So guys, you can select your payment plan, right? You can do pay in full at $997. You'll save over $100. You can also do my bite-sized payment plan, which is going to be $287, or you can start for free for 6 months by using PayPal Pay Later or PayPal Credit, and that's where you get started for $0 out of pocket. You have no payments or no interest for 6 months, and you're able to get full access to the entire program right away. All right, so you want to go ahead when you decide to join the program. You're going to enter your name as well as your information. This is what your checkout page is going to look like. So again, if you want to get started for free, you would pick that first option and make sure to choose PayPal Credit. And then you can pay in full right out of pocket at $997, or you can do the bite-sized payment plan, which is 4 payments of $287. So this is what your checkout page will look like. So guys, you have 15 minutes right now to start your own profitable, cash flowing Airbnb in just the next 30 to 60 days. And here's everything the B&B from Scratch method includes. And again, for my action takers that get started in the next 15 minutes, you are going to have the ability to get that fast acting bonus, which is the 6-figure Airbnb system, which is going to help you teach you how to get $100,000 plus in bookings in just 1 year. Okay, guys, so that is it. You can get started right now with the B&B from Scratch method. You have just a few minutes before that fast acting bonus is going to go away. So make sure you are able to get started. And if you have any questions, I'm here for that. So definitely drop your questions in the chat and we will get back to you ASAP with your questions answered, because I want to make sure that you are comfortable with this investment in yourself today. And I cannot wait to see you all in the program. So I will see you then.